Cool. So some of the shows that I'm watching right now. So it's really cool that I'm finding out that a lot of these are getting second season. So AMC's Into the Badlands has been a really good show. So for me, a lot of them are hit or miss for me. So a lot of them I start and I kind of move on. So that I've kind of done that with quite a few, but that is mostly because of how I'm watching them and stuff. So I don't really like to watch them like back to back, like from week to week. So I kind of like to watch them all in one lump. So I think that might be real shitty for their studios because the ratings, might go down, and I think we lose some really good shows that way. Like I think we just lost. So I just did the critique for Grandfathered, the John Stamos show, and Joshua Peck. And that one was really, really good as I was watching it, but as I was watching it, I watched it late, right? So I don't think it was part of the viewers that were part of the rating. So maybe because of that, it didn't get a new season, but that's unfortunate. I think mostly for the studios and the viewers, because then we have to do all of this. We have to create all of this hype, post, the show getting canceled to get the shows back on. So one of my most famous examples of that was Roswell. So that's one of my favorite shows as a young adult, and that show got canceled after its first. It got canceled after its first season and after its second season. So the fans got it back twice. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe some studios move too fast, and Fox being definitely one of those. But there's some really, really good new shows coming out right now too. So one that I'll get into a little later is Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, which is I'm a huge fan of Dennis Leary. Cool. So let's do Into the Badlands right now. So I'll go ahead and pull up the IMDb, and we'll kind of go over that. Okay. So I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you the show itself. The show itself, it's AMC, so and then the show has a lot of production budget. It's quite fantasy-ish, and it's kind of post-apocalyptic-ish as well. So the description here is a mighty warrior and a young boy's search for enlightenment in a ruthless territory controlled by feudal barons. Cool. So the creators are Alfred Go and Miles Millar. Those are our guys from Smallville. In a ton of really good shows. But anyways, so in this show, Sonny is his name, and I'll go ahead and let me read the description of episode 1, so that way we can kind of discuss that. Bear with me. So the season 1, episode 1, Sonny rescues a mysterious boy who harbors a dark secret, but may also know the way out of the Badlands. So we get to see. Let me see who's in this one, because that episode was really cool. So the stars are Daniel Wu, which I don't really know from anything else, but as we do in each episode, we can kind of explore him. So Daniel Wu is, well, if nothing I've ever seen. I don't. Apparently, he was in The Man with Iron Fists in 2012, Protege in 2007, One Night in Mongkok in 2004, and Europa Report. I don't think I've seen any of those films. But anyways, it looks like he's going to be in Warcraft. Well, it's already been shot, right? So, ooh, and it was released too. So Warcraft movie earns that was released yesterday. Well, this information earned 70 million ahead of box office. Box office ahead of its domestic release. Let's see. Anyway, so Daniel Wu is in it. That's cool. Cool for Daniel. And so the Into the Badlands. Let me pull the. He's not necessarily the villain, but one of the barons is kind of Sonny's owner. Okay, so Sonny, I want to say he was an orphan, and so one of the other really so he his name is Quinn. Let me pull them up because they might even on IMDb gets pretty advanced now. They actually have like character bios and shit. So we're in Quinn's territory, right? So because the feud is against this Baron and several others. So it says here, Quinn is the Badlands preeminent Baron, a former Clipper, and so that's what Sonny is called. That is his classification. He's an assassin, and each kill he makes, he gets tattooed on him. And I don't think I've seen any guns, to be honest. So they're all sword kills, and this lets you know how lethal he is in combat because these people fight back. And yeah, so he's really good. The martial arts in here is exaggerated. I was just reading something else about it. Like they were saying, like something about the dragon punch in reality, and so they called it video game battling. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is. But maybe we could explore that together. But anyways, so Quinn is played by Martin Suckus. Martin is shit. He's not American. So he was born in Ever, Cargill, Aotearoa, wherever the fuck that is. It says here. Okay, so he's from New Zealand, yeah. And he was who is Celeborn from the Lord of the Rings? Let me see who that is. Celeborn. Celeborn. Oh, he's one of the freaking elves. So when they go to he's in all of them. Anyways, he's the higher elder elf at Lothlorien. Yeah. So Lord Celeborn. But he's been in a ton of other films. Usually he plays a wide variety of parts in a lot of different things, right? So let me pull up his IMDb. He's the Baron here, and he's like a southern gentleman type. So the description that I was reading off previously was just saying he's ruthless, enigmatic, shrewd, and charming. These motherfuckers ride around on horses and stuff. So it kind of seems like it's in the now or even in the future, but it's hard to place a time. To me, it's like I would assume they just have their own time in their own place. Like that's how a lot of fantasy is. you know. While it might resemble our world here now, it might not have a time in our world, you know, then, and it may never clarify or classify. But anywho, maybe it doesn't. I'm just being an ass. We'll review. When I review the, like, do like an introspective of the first episode. I'll go back and I'll watch the exact episode and then I'll do it right after. So this is only meant to be an overview. So we'll just kind of brief through all this. So it says here. Quinn is the Badlands' preeminent baron, a former Clipper. Quinn secured his position the old-fashioned way. He killed for it, murdering the very baron who trained him. Given his own trajectory, it's not surprising that Quinn spares no expense to ensure the satisfaction of his Clippers. So they're kind of like prize cockfighters, right? So he treats them really good. They don't go to the slave quarters like all the other little young shits who are training. He gets his own like fucking house, and he rides a I think he does ride a motorcycle. So he rides a motorcycle in and out of town and shit. And he is hooking up with this girl, but they're not really meant to do this. So in this territory, I think they're supposed to be like fucking monks or something. I don't think he's supposed to be having sex and stuff. But he does. He goes out and he has a relationship with people. So he starts to fall out of love with being the prize rooster, right? You get that analogy. So while this life is losing its luster, he has never really honestly wanted to be here. We start to collect this specifically as the plot develops itself. So this random boy comes into play, and he has this dark power, and he is uncontrolled, and it happens randomly. And so the boy is... And it's hard to understand what is true and what is not, because while you're in the midst of the story, the characters are not going to just be like, hey, this is who I am. This is honest and true, right? So that never happens. While we don't trust almost anyone here, you know, so everything is quite like deceptive. And so it's hard whenever you're in the psychology of things to place who you want to be. So that develops a little more as you submit with the characters. So seeing this other side of Sonny, where he wasn't just this robotic assassin killer, you know, he has a heart with compassion, and really doesn't, and is a gentleman about his strokes of death, and you know, everything. He is a good warrior, you know, in almost all of the senses. But you know, things get quite wet here. So I want to say there's even a ton of blood and stuff too, which is, it's on AMC, so that's pretty common. Yeah. I could possibly, I'll see the rating in just a moment. So I'll finish reading you the biography for Quinn. Given his own trajectory, it's not surprising that Quinn spares no expense to ensure the satisfaction of his Clippers, who constitute the largest, best trained, and best outfitted army in the Badlands. For 3 decades, Quinn has consistently outflanked and outmaneuvered his fellow barons to keep the upper hand. But the political winds are shifting, and Quinn is no longer a young man. His aura of invincibility is fading. However, Quinn will not go down without a fight, and his desperation to maintain control makes him even more dangerous. Right? So he seems like a very gruesome character and someone you would not want to cross. So Sonny leaving Quinn is going to be a bad thing for Sonny, right? So if and when this ever does happen, then you know, he might have to become a baron himself, right? So I bet he'll be the first. First. No, well, he wouldn't be because I mean, you know, it says Quinn is a Clipper too, and I mean, I think all the Clippers are pretty much brought up and raised that way. But anyways, cool. So go and check that show out. Let's talk about Shannara, right? So Shannara has one of our really cool and famous people. So if you watch the Spartacus episode, so one of the guys in Spartacus is in Shannara Chronicles, and that's an MTV not an original. So they converted it from this fantasy novel from the 1970s that was a bestseller, and I guess it's really popular. So the graphics and the characters in this show so the characters are quite young in their worlds, you know. So they're very young adults who are coming up in their own world, and certain things are bringing them together. So certain events. So in the beginning of the Shannara Chronicles, there is there's this human, I believe. Anyways, so there's some elves, there's humans and stuff. So this one seems very, to me, it is a mixture of a lot of things. It's a mixture of like Hunger Games, and it's a mixture of, you know, a lot of different things. Like certain things, you know, it even felt a little Harry Potter-ish at times, and that is mostly like the camaraderie in between the ranks and what people do to kind of like, you know, make themselves, you know, be more outstanding than what they are, even though they're something brilliant and amazing already, you know. So characters that go above and beyond to shine, you know, in their worlds so that their worlds respond to them, you know. Hunger Games is a perfect example of that, you know, and so are several others. But so the character that is from Spartacus, so Manu Bennett. I'm gonna just say it like that, right? So whatever. uh, but yeah, so he's from New Zealand too. So apparently, you have to be from New Zealand to be a film. You have to be from New Zealand to be an actor here in America. But anyways, he's fucking super awesome in Spartacus. So he was Crixus. So we know him as, you know, potentially Spartacus's greatest. Could he be his greatest foe? But he definitely is his greatest rival, and then his best friend. So without Crixus in the story, Spartacus just may be boring, right? So Manu played. I hope that's his how he says it, right? So, but anyways, I hope. Anyways, his character was very prominent. His character was the Ultimate Warrior in Spartacus, and Spartacus was this mad, crazy, lost soul, you know, who is a dog, you know, who is a rabid animal, you know, who has one purpose in life, and is to manifest revenge upon his oppressors. So Crixus is a tuned bred warrior, you know, just very much like we're talking about here in Into the Badlands. Like he's the prime rooster, right? So, you know, in cockfights, right? So I don't cockfighting is very prominent outside of the United States. So, you know, some countries have it like a sport and everything that you watch on television, like, you know, football or soccer, and but yeah, so they treat these chickens very very well, you know. And so they go above and beyond for these chickens. They eat the best. They allow them to frolic and stuff, you know what I mean? So they like get the best of the best. So Crixus is this warrior, and to be a good gladiator in Spartacus, you know, you got these rewards and stuff. So Spartacus was immodest at times and turned some rewards away. Anywho, so Manu is in the Shannara Chronicles, and he is a what the fuck druid, right? So the boy is human, I believe, but he is the last of a particular group and contains special powers with these stones, only he's an amateur and has never been taught how to formally do this. But apparently his I believe it was his father was the last, you know. Anywho, so the boy got some heirlooms from his father that he cannot understand yet. So Manu's character he has been brought back. So his character is a I can't say an immortal, but he was resting until this evil came so that he could come and destroy it, which ultimately means they've fought it before, and he might have been part of that original battle and mostly like himself to combat it if it ever comes back. So whatever activates this, it doesn't much matter. So you'll get to watch that. So this is activated, and these characters are activated, and a lot of in these first couple of episodes they just kind of cascade into each other. And in this show, it is targeted toward young adults. I would say toward anyone who's like watching Rain or a lot of shows that are like TV 14. And so it's on MTV, and so is Teen Wolf and stuff. So, you know, they keep it pretty young, but it is older. So I would say their target range is possibly 17 to 22. You know what I mean? So, but the show has Manu in it. So, like with anything with characters that we know and love, we're going to fucking check that shit out, right? So that's the only reason why I checked out Game of Thrones, is because, you know, they had one of the Lord of the Rings guys in there. The Father Stark, who fucking dies in like the second episode or something. So, it's really cool to see him in there, and then we get more familiar with kind of these unknown actors who are coming up and are very young. And so Shannara is very cool in that way, where it does have unknowns. And I particularly love to watch the progression of actors. So I very much like these new actors. So the girl, the girl that's in here, she has this dark power that she doesn't know that she has, and she goes into these dark fucking slate and like comes out of it and has no idea what the fuck has happened. So she eventually starts to figure this shit out. And anyways, all these characters kind of cascade into one another. So in Shannara, Manu's part, his name is Alanon. Cool. Let me. So Austin Butler is the star of this show. He's Will Omsford, and the girl is Ivana Paquero, and she's Etria. So there's some really, really cool characters in here. There's some people. Jeremy Renner is in here, so he's fucking Ajax from the Warriors, right? So it was fucking super tits to see him in here. That was a very good thing, very cool thing. So a lot of really cool characters, a lot of really cool people to see. The story, the dynamic of the story is very impressive at times, and then there is a lot of combat as well, so that is really, really awesome. The graphics are very modern and cutting edge, so you know a lot of people will like that. Bear with me. I'm going to pull up these actors. So, Will Omsford. Damn, the character bio is empty. But anyways, you get to see that. But let's talk about Austin. Apparently, he was in Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure in 2011. And Spin Arrow. He was Chase. Where the fuck Chase is, if you guys watch Arrow. And shit, he's been in a ton of stuff. It's just like, what the fuck is Aliens in the Attic? It's a kids movie, right? So yeah, I didn't see it. So it's like this fucking alien film. It's the aliens versus the Pearsons is the catch motto thing on the ad. It's called Aliens in the Attic, and it came out in fucking 2009. Cool. So he was a younger kid in that, and looks like he was in Hannah Montana and shit like that too. iCarly. Cool. So you know he's kind of bred for this MTV fucking role. You know, that's really cool. I would imagine he's gonna. So he's got another film. It looks like it's in post production. It's called Dude. And what the fuck is Dude? So it's a group of teenage girlfriends deal with life after high school. So sounds funny. It's not really anybody that I fucking know in it though. Anyways, cool. That's why we're getting to know people, right? Cool. So go and check out that one. Also, I'd like to lastly cover sex, drugs, and rock and rolls. Cool. So I'm a big ass Dennis Leary fan. If any of you watch Rescue Me, it was great. So I mean, like that shows like everybody's life, right? No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. I mean, like you just love these fucking characters like so much, right? So it's like you live through these struggles with them, like you go through these shit ass relationships, like you go through this crazy flings and like it's and shit, and like you know you like know and love these people. His fucking brother died, and Rescue Me is like you know you fucking lost somebody in your family too, so it's like But anyway, so to have that attachment to fucking anything Dennis Leary touches. So Dennis Leary is an amazing comedian and actor and fucking person, I would imagine, because it just seems like most of his parts are just so genuinely, possibly him, that, you know, that's good that he brings that sort of energy to his parts, right? So cool. Anyways, you know, you get to see, so, and that's the exact sort of thing that I'm talking about, like with why I wanted to kind of briefly talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So let me, I'm gonna pull up sometimes we actually, and I'm gonna change the format to where you can actually see this shit that I'm doing on the screen at some point too. So I just do this shit to be fast and easy right now, but we'll get into some actual really good production shit in the future. But I'm gonna pull up sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We're gonna let's do it, right? It's just a quick trailer, so it's on FX, or it's coming out on FX. Let me pull up the. The trailer. It's a 30-second trailer.
This is the face of a rock star, a 50-year-old failed rock
So,
star.
whenever, so in this one.
Daughter, she showed up in New York, and she's the new.
Damn it. Here, so I'm gonna let that scrub, okay, guys, and then we'll talk about it. But so fucking, he's this older rock star, right? So he might have been a rock star for a long time. We'll figure that shit out, right? So in the show, he's a famous rock star. So we're gonna get to see him in this like Mick Jagger fucking type part where we get to see the actual life of a very famous. So that's the part that he's playing. It's the character that he's playing. So it'll be fucking cool to see Dennis Leary be a lavish and fucking you know, eccentric fucking rock star, you know. Cool. So it loaded.
This is the face of a rock star, a 50-year-old failed rock star. Long story short, I have a daughter. She showed up in New York, and she's the new lead singer of my band. Is that her? I'm in. I'm way in.
She's hot, and she's gonna be like part of the band. And it looks like he kind of fucking hates it.
You're
but...
a lazy, selfish, pothead alcoholic with a death wish.
But it looks like he's got to do it, you know, to kickstart his career or some shit, right? So cool. It looks fucking good. Enough to watch Dennis Leary. I would watch it anything anyway. So because he just fucking did Spider-Man, right? Anyways, cool. So we're done for today. Thanks for sticking around, guys, and I'll see you next time. Yeah. Let me shut this down.